You'll see here on the first page, we'll see Jacob and Esau. Esau had just finished hunting, it looks like, for some time, and now Jacob is offering him something that he possibly wants, which is soup, because he's cooking. Well, it says here that Jacob was cooking while Esau hunted and thinking of something of Esau's he wanted, so that's what's on his mind. And so he looked up with a gleam in his eye as Esau, his brother, came staggering by. "I'm starved," said Esau. "I'll die on the spot. Give me some vegetable stew from the pot." "Okay," said Jacob, "we'll make a deal. You give me your birthright, I'll give you a meal." "I promise," said Esau, and swore to the trade. So on the surface, it looks like as simple as soup. He will trade his birthright. And so that's what's happening. Truly, that is what's happening here, that we can see. And so apparently here, it seems like Esau here has a lack of faith or seriousness also of things that are of God. He doesn't want to be consistent here in, honoring God, honoring the stuff that God has given him here. Just, these gifts, the birthright and everything, which is very valuable here to each family, yet he didn't take it seriously, the thing that he was able to have. And so it shows his character here, and it's just like a big gift here, a big blessing, but yet he didn't want it. It was a very good thing to have, and he didn't want to, I guess, take on that responsibility. And so he has shown that, because he didn't even hesitate when Jacob asked for it. And Jacob here apparently wanted it, and so there must be some he has something here really good. There must be something here that is of good value, but he doesn't see it that way at the end of the day. And so he traded that. Done deal. But once, long after the bargain was made, said their mother, "Jacob, come here." And she hissed a message into his ear. And so it looks like this trick, this scheme here that they're having together is starting to happen. A scheme is happening here that they're discussing. It says, "Your father may die very soon. So today, this is the secret I heard him say." "Esau," he whispered, "do what I want. Go to the woods on a venison hunt. Kill a deer to cook for a stew. And after I eat it, here's what I'll do. I want to bless you before I die with the special blessing, which is the birthright." And that's the father's plan. "And here's why. I'll give it to you, not Jacob, your brother, for you are my firstborn and favorite, no other." Apparently, because he was the firstborn, yes, he will have the birthright. But apparently, he also says here that he can possibly be the favorite in that sense of just granting all that blessing towards him and giving him all these good things. His brother can't have it because he's not the firstborn. This made Jacob thoroughly mad, but his mother declared, "We'll trick your dad. I've got a grand little plan in my mind, and I think it will work for your father is blind." And so they're possibly switching the roles here for the second born to get the birthright, because it's upon what the blessing will be given to at this time. "I'll make him some meat. You can take him," she said, "and he'll think you're Esau and bless you instead. Go to your goat herd and bring me a kid. In fact, bring two." So Jacob did. And so that was the plan. And they're doing just that to trick their dad. "She boiled them both till they simmered and bubbled, but Jacob was doubtful. His thoughts were troubled. He is concerned if this is going to work out, but yet they're both in this scheming decision here to continue with the plan, and that is exactly what's happening here. All right, they really want Jacob to have the birthright. Well, it's really happening here. "Suppose when I give him the meat to eat, he feels my hands and knows I'm a cheat, for my brother is hairy and I am not, and he'll know the difference, and then I'll get caught." So they are going to maybe remedy this because of the lack of hair. So now, but his mother was clever, and here's what she did. She put on his hand some skin from a kid from Esau's clothes. That's probably why she asked him earlier to get two here in this story. From Esau's clothes, she picked his best and gave them to Jacob. And when he was dressed, right? So he's starting to have the texture of his brother here, with the clothes, with the hair, with everything but being him. And so here he is approaching their dad here on his bed. Father, he lied. I'm Esau, your son. Eat this and bless me as soon as you're done. And so that's what's happening here. It's about to be the time to give the blessing. Isaac, his father, before very long, frowned, for he knew that something was wrong. Your voice is like Jacob's, his father replied. Come, he said sternly, kneel at my side. He sniffed, but the scent of the hunter arose, the smell of the fields from Esau's clothes. He stroked the hand that lay on his knee. It felt very hairy, as Esau's would be. And so it seems like he's being tricked after all. So Jacob was blessed instead of his brother, and now they were pleased, he and his mother, and so it is done. This deed has been done, and even though it's not truthful here, and has, this is not actually the way things should be, he still had the blessing. But then came an angry shout, a scream. Esau had learned of their trick, their scheme. He'd returned from his hunt a little too late, and his heart started burning with envy and hate. So it seems like he wants it now, or maybe he's just upset that he was being tricked here, because his mom and his brother here didn't tell them this plan here, because they were kind of wanting Jacob to have the blessing. And so he didn't like that they were doing this behind his back. But at the end of the day, he didn't want it. Yet he was still mad. And he was starting to get really bitter at this point. And the news reached Jacob one afternoon that Esau was planning to murder him soon, to the point of attacking him, hurting him, harming him, maybe even, on the brink here of really hurting him. Son, cried his mother, run for your life, and while you're away, you can look for a wife in a distant land. Your uncle, my brother, has 2 lovely daughters. Choose one or the other. Yes, go to your uncle's. His father agreed. It's time you were married. It's time indeed. And so the mom is just glad that she got the blessing here spiritually. He'll hold on to that. They can't take that away from him because his dad is about to pass on. His dad doesn't really know what's happening, and he already had blessed him. I mean, it's official then because it has already been done. And so she has this next plan here for him to live the rest of his life here with her brother. So Jacob, alone in the heat of the day, quietly packed and sneaked away. So he was safe. He was able to sneak out and now leave what he has known here pretty much his whole life. And so he's leaving his family, including a brother who is really here out to get him. He walked and he ran, always glancing behind. The stones bruised his feet, and the dust made him blind. It was a very, very rough journey for him, but yet he kept pressing on. He knew that God would provide and that he had to stick with this plan, which is a good plan indeed. And so he is just following through, making sure that he is safe every step of the way. And with a prayer that God should pity and keep homesick poor Jacob, he lay down to sleep with no one to hug and no one to fight, and nothing but stones for pillows at night. All right, so the parents' note. Many people are shocked to learn what a treacherous person Jacob was. Jacob, the head of the nation of Israel, to whom the Lord gave the special name of Israel. But the Bible is honest, and it shows us how weak and inconsistent even heroes of faith can be. Right? We're not perfect. Here we have an incident from the early life of Jacob, the schemer and deceiver. We cannot approve of his wicked trick, even though God used it for good. So he's been kind of having this characteristic for most of his life. We can't approve this, nor can God really approve of this wicked trick, but God had allowed it to consequently him still being a patriarch here, because God worked it for that purpose, for good, for the whole nation, for everyone. Use this story to help your child understand the people in the Bible as real and completely human, just like you and me. They were weak and they made mistakes, some pretty bad ones too, but God is loving and forgiving. Yes, He is. He is a Father who does not give up on His children, but patiently leads them step by step to understand His will and to do it. Jacob was not blessed for his wicked trick on his brother Esau and his father Isaac. He suffered in many ways for his craftiness, and he himself was the victim of treachery by his uncle Laban and by his own sons.